Watch me while I bleed on my windows.
Hi guys, welcome to Truth Talkin Thursday. This is Jim. I'm Jane. Happy New Year to you all. This is the first Truth Talk of the year for us.
The year, yes, it
so
is.
2018, bring it on.
Yes, and Jane and I were just talking actually about where we're going to go this year. You know, and we've decided that we need to be, how should we say, a little less controlled, I suppose, in terms of what we speak of and how we speak, and be more willing and able to kind of be a little more controversial, I think.
Yeah,
I can speak for you.
Yep. No, you kind of hit the nail on the head. If any of you out there have ever watched Last Man Standing with Tim Allen, funny as his things usually are. I have a great deal of respect for the man, but Last Man Standing is very it's family oriented, and I love the dynamics of the family. They're not perfect. They fight. Very realistic to me. I resonate with everything. And I think that's why I found it funny, and also sobering. In the show, Tim Allen does a vlog, and he records the things that are happening in his life. He's very opinionated. But what I like about it is that the other characters that are in the production as well are just as controversial. Nobody has a problem stating where they stand. And I think that's given me the kick in the butt that I needed to realize that I've got things to say. And I don't say that because I think what I have to say is monumental or so much more worthy than what anybody else has to say. It's just that for me, Jim and I were talking about this earlier, I'm sick and tired of being quiet about important things that happen to me and that I fear for others. Hopefully that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So one thing that's been on my mind a lot lately, and Jim and I were just discussing briefly here, is teenage suicide. It's been on the rise for some time. I'm not sure, those of you out there, I'm not sure if you have any experience with that. I have had two heartbreaking situations very, very close to me that I have worked through and continue to work through. And it's been a real eye-opener for me. And because of that, something has to change. And I was going to say that I'm sorry if this is offensive. I'm not. Because from my own personal experience, this needs to be offensive. If you are not aware of your child and what your child is doing and what your child is thinking, you need to be. Because if you aren't, what's going to wake you up? Is it going to be when you get that call from the hospital? Or is it going to be when the policeman shows up at your door informing you that you've lost your kid? At what point are you going to wake up? This is a huge, huge problem. Teenage anxiety and depression leads to suicide. And if it's not stopped, it's going to keep rising. And that's what I fear the most. The little community that we live in, there is a ton of bright talent. And when I think of the possibility about losing any of them, sometimes I almost feel panic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree 100%. I think as parents we've lost our perspective in terms of what does it mean to be a parent? What is it? How do we as a parent, how do we go about guiding our youngsters through their lives and their hard times? As parents, we've lost that perspective in terms of what we need to do to be good parents. And we have helicopter parents, in other words, parents that just smother the daylights out of their kids, and the kid can't make a move without the parents being okay. That's not okay. That's not what it means to be a parent. That's a jail keeper. You go to the other end of it, and it's, well, he made his mess, let him clean it up, or she made that call, and so she's got to suffer the consequences now. That's not being a parent. We've lost the idea of what a parent is supposed to be and who that parent is supposed to be and what kind of person you're supposed to be a parent. School systems have become surrogate parents. Well, you fix them. That's why we pay you. No, that's not why we pay schools. We pay schools to educate our children, not raise them.
Here's the thing from my perspective. I thought I was a good parent. And I was. What I was not was aware. And I was not aware because of the circumstances that were going on in my life. That is not an excuse. I'm not offering that as an excuse. I'm trying to be factual. I thought I was a good parent because I was involved in my kids' lives. Heck, I was with my kids 24/7. My kids even came grocery shopping with me. Like, we were always together. But the problem was, I was not aware. You can't, it's not just about physically being with your kid. It's not just about giving them money. It's not just about giving them this false sense of freedom where you let them do whatever they want to do. That's not what it's about. It's about listening. It's about undivided attention. Not while you're sitting there on your phone, while you're halfway listening to them and texting somebody. That's not good. That's not good enough. It has to be undivided attention. It has to be an awareness where, even if it's the awareness where you are just watching your child from a distance, watching them interact with other people, watching them interact with their friends, watching them interact with their siblings and their other parent. Those things matter. And if you aren't aware of those things, you're missing something. And I can say that with a clear conscience because that's what I did. I didn't mean to. It wasn't intentional. But that's what happened. And I know that I'm not the only one because I've listened to many of you. We've talked. And I've listened to you express the same fears that I did. And I'm looking at those things now and I'm thinking, oh, well, maybe instead of just comforting each other as parents by sharing our frustrations, we should be encouraging each other to say, oh, well, maybe you should check into that a little bit farther. Maybe you should have a conversation with your kid about that. What if there's something else going on? It's not just a matter that they're a kid, or it's not just a matter that, oh, this is teenagers growing up. They're expressing themselves, they're learning. Sometimes our gut instincts as parents are right.
There's a time to teach. There's a time to listen. There's a time to watch. If we're going to be an integral part of any kid's life, we as parents have to understand when those times are happening. At some point, they're human beings, they're kids, and they're little people, and they don't know, and they depend on us to know. And
the scary thing is, we're the ones teaching them.
Yes,
we're the ones
and
giving
we don't
them.
Know.
No, we're so messed up with the fact that we are overspending and in monumental debt that we're not even facing ourselves. Our relationships suck because we have no time and we're not present in them because we're either on our phones or tablets or whatever. We're not aware. Mm-hmm. We're not aware of the things that are the most important. Yeah. And that's what needs to change.
We need to start gathering as groups of people and letting other people know that we're not happy with how things are going and we're really concerned about the quality of life that our children are experiencing. And the one thing I think I feel very strongly about that is we've got to get back into reality here, and we've got to replace money and the idea that money is power and get away. We got to get away from ourselves in some ways. We need to reevaluate where we're going, why we're here, and what we're doing.
I think the most valuable thing we can give our children is our time.
Absolutely.
So on that note, have a great week, and we'll talk to you next week.
Take care, and thanks for stopping by.